Hey guys, Trinity C here, coming at you with another video. Pokémon Horizons has been a rather long-standing anime for Pokémon and initially premiered all the way back on April 14th of the year 2023 and is going to be premiering its new arc, its next season, on May 22nd of this year being 2026. This is going to be called Pokémon Horizon Wonder Voyage in Japan. We don't really know what it's going to be called here in the US, but they recently released a poster for this new season, which you can see on screen, and it showcases a lot of different characters, a lot of different Pokemon, from the new Mega Evolutions and Lucario Z and Mega Phalanx to Koraidon, Miraidon, Ogerpon, Pecharunt. We have the roaming style of Gimmighoul with a Pokemon Ghost Stop. Seemingly, there's a lot going on here, and I'm someone who hasn't really been in tune with the anime or what's been going on with it, but apparently there's a new character which you can see in the middle of this image here, who is going to have a brand new Generation 10 Pokemon that's going to debut at her side in the anime. This is coming from Central Leaks, as you can see their tweet on screen, but not only that, but we also know the typing of this brand new Pokemon. According to Central Leaks, a hint from the leaker who leaked the starter Pokemon prior to Pokemon Winds and Waves getting announced and has since said that apparently Winds and Waves is not getting another trailer this year. They're saying that the new Generation 10 Pokemon that will appear in the anime will be a rock psychic type, which is a really interesting typing because that's Solrock and Lunatone's typing. So I wonder if this is going to be a new Pokemon to add on to that duo to make it into a trio, or maybe it's even a regional form for one of those two, but who knows? Maybe there's kind of like a hybrid between the two of them. We'll have to wait and see what this Pokemon ends up being. But this is something that shockingly hasn't happened in a long time. If you guys have been following the Pokemon franchise for a while and you've been just paying attention to what's been going on with this franchise all the way since the beginning, they used to do this a lot where Pokemon would premiere in the anime way before their generation. I mean, heck, the first episode of the Pokemon franchise or the Pokemon TV show has Ho-Oh appear in it, and that's a Generation 2 Pokemon. But I went back to take a look to see how many Pokemon were introduced prior to their generation, and quite frankly, it's shocking to me. I'm gonna throw the list up on screen, but we had a total of 11 Generation 2 Pokemon premiere in the anime before they premiered in Generation 2 and Gold and Silver, including Ho-Oh, Lugia, Slowking, Ladybug, Donphan, Marill, Togepi. Remember Togepi by Misty's Side? That was before Gen 2 came out. You look at Generation 3, there were a total of 17 Pokemon that were introduced in the anime before Ruby and Sapphire came out. This includes Wynaut, Azurill, Duskull, both of the Lotties and Latios and Latias, Blaziken, Sharpedo, amongst others. Generation 4 is the one that I remember the most because that's at the point in time where I was watching the anime prior to the new generation of games coming out. We had a total of 10 new Pokemon premiere in the anime before they premiered in Diamond and Pearl. If you guys remember the old movies back in the day, Destiny Deoxys was the debut for Munchlax. We had Lucario, Bonsly, Weavile, Mime Jr. all premiere in Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, which came out before Gen 4. Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea had Manaphy, Mantike, Weasel, Chatot all premiere in that film for the first time. We started to see this decline a bit in Generation 5. The only ones we got before the game came out were Zoroark, Zoroark, and Woobat, a total of 3. In Gen 6, I remember I started watching the Gen 5 anime towards the end of it because I was so hyped for Generation 6 for X and Y. We had a total of 4 new Pokemon premiere in the anime in Sylveon, Helioptile, Gogoat, and Noivern. And then in Generation 7, Magurna premiered in Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel. And then in Gen 9, Terapagos premiered in the anime before the DLC came out. But this is something, as you can see from the timeline of things, that really doesn't happen much anymore for some reason. Prior to Generation 5 or Generation 4's anime, there were a lot of Pokemon that would get revealed in the anime before the games came out. Quite frankly, more than I even knew, because at this point in time, when I was a kid back then watching this, I really didn't know the concept of a brand new generation or that Pokemon even had generations. You know, Pokemon was this one big world to me with all of these Pokemon. It wasn't really until the end of Generation 3 when Generation 4 was on the horizon that I understood what a generation in Pokemon was. But as I said before, I was quite frankly shocked to see that we had a total of 11, 17, etc. introduced before the games came out. That seems absurd, but this is something that they really don't do anymore. And it's interesting to see that in this anime Pokemon Horizons, we you're going to see the debut of a brand new Generation 10 Pokemon probably within the next 2 to 3 months, I would have to imagine. I do wonder why this is something that we really don't see happen as much anymore within the Pokemon franchise. I always thought it was a fun and unique way to introduce new Pokemon to the world by having them appear in these anime episodes prior to the game coming out that they're going to appear in. Because not only is that a fun way to market the new games, but it also is a way to bring people into the anime. Because as I said at the start of this video, I have not seen Pokemon Horizons. I haven't seen a single episode of it. But if you told me that if I go watch Pokemon Horizons, there's going to be a brand new Gen 10 Pokemon, I'm going to go check out that episode just because I want to see what this new Pokemon is about. And if I go check out that episode, maybe I fall in love with the show. Maybe I decide to catch up on all of it and start watching it weekly. That's the way to market and connect this franchise together. But it's something that they really don't do anymore, and I do wonder why. The most recent example, because to be honest, I don't really count Terapagos because Terapagos is a Generation 9 Pokemon that premiered in Generation 9's anime. It just happened to appear in the anime before the game came out that it appears in, or the DLC, I should say. So I don't really count that one as much. The last time this truly happened was with Magurna in Generation 6 prior to its appearance in Gen 7 in Sun and Moon. But they've done some similar stuff to this recently. The most recent example of a Pokemon premiering elsewhere before the game it actually debuts in is with Meltan. If you guys remember, they had that whole thing where Pokemon Go was taken over by Meltan randomly and no one really knew what was going on, and then we all realized that this was a new Pokemon and we thought maybe they screwed up, but it turned out to be, quite frankly, a very clever marketing tactic for this brand new legendary mythical Pokemon in Meltan, and obviously later it evolves into Melmetal. But this is something that I hope the Pokemon Company does more of going forward because, like I said before, it's just a fun way to market your games and it gets people into other aspects of the franchise that they maybe wouldn't be into otherwise. Like imagine if within the TCG in the next set Chaos Rising, which obviously this isn't going to happen, but imagine within the TCG if we have a brand new Generation 10 Pokemon debut within it. How hype would that be? Obviously that would create more issues for the TCG as it's not exactly easy to get your hands on packs right now, but that would be such a fun and unique way to introduce a Pokemon, and I implore Pokemon to do more things like this. I made a whole video recently going over how we're probably not going to get a trailer for Pokemon Winds and Waves until next year according to multiple different leakers. I'll leave a card up above it to that video if you haven't seen it, but within that video I was rather critical of Pokemon's marketing. They really, to me, feel like they don't try anymore, they just don't care, because the marketing is quite frankly awful. Like, I can market Pokemon better than Pokemon does. But I feel like this announcement that we're getting a new Pokemon in the anime is something they kind of need to go back to. Like, I will say during Gens 1, 2, and 3, I think it was a bit excessive as to the amount of brand new Pokemon that were revealed in the anime, but if we got, let's say, 4 to 5, maybe even 6 Pokemon revealed in Horizons for Generation 10, like we saw in the Gen 5 anime for X and Y, Sylveon, Helioptile, Go-Go, and Noivern, I don't see the harm in that. Like, that's fun. That gets people talking about your franchise when you tease, hey, there's a brand new Pokemon that's about to premiere in the Pokemon anime that we have no idea what this Pokemon is going to be. We don't know what typing, we don't know what it's going to be called. It's just brand new to the world of Pokemon. That would be absolutely sick, and again gets more people's eyes on your anime, which in turn will raise the popularity of it. The last thing I want to say before signing off on this video is something I'm curious about is if we'll get more Pokemon introduced in the anime in this way before Generation 10 comes out. I'm gonna go out and venture to guess that we won't. I think it's probably just going to be this one Pokemon and that's it, but I implore the Pokemon Company to do more things like this. This is fun. This is the way you spark interest in your franchise. This is the way you get people talking about it. Heck, I'm making a video right here saying that we're getting a new Pokemon in the Pokemon anime. I'm talking about your anime and I'm talking about your new game. That's the way to market your franchise. That's the way to get people involved in it and get new fans interested in it, because I, again, am someone who doesn't watch the Pokemon anime. I quite frankly couldn't care less about it, and now all of a sudden I'm intrigued by it because I want to know what this new Pokemon is going to be. It's apparently a rock psychic type, but I want to see the thing, and the only way I'm going to be able to see it is if I watch that episode of the anime. So again, this is the way to market your franchise and make it more popular, the way to keep it alive, and I hope that this trickles down into the rest of Pokemon. I hope we start to see more things like this, and I hope they actually start to figure out how to market their games, because it's something they've been lacking in over the past half decade or so, and seemingly is something that is going to be a major issue going forward with Winds and Waves if the rumors are correct that we're not getting another trailer until next year, being 2027. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the fact that we're apparently getting a brand new Pokemon Pokemon in the new arc, the new season of the Pokemon anime, at some point after it premieres at the end of May on May 22nd. Are you excited to see what this new Pokemon is going to be? And are you curious by the fact that it shares the same typing as Solrock and Lunatone? Do you think it's going to have something to do with that duo? Let me know down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from Trainer DC. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.